Welcome, crypto fam, to number one daily Bitcoin pod. Bitcoin pumping, back in the green, baby. Up 2,700 on the day. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest technical analysis as well as breaking news. State-owned oil and gas giant Petrobras is now mining Bitcoin with flare gas. It accounts for 88% of Brazil's energy. We'll also be discussing the Trump executive order raises EU concerns over the US dollar, stablecoin dominance. We'll also be discussing MetaPlanet plans to raise over $700 million. Guess what to do? Buy more Bitcoin, aiming for 21,000 BTC by 2026. We'll also be discussing breaking news in Arizona. Their Senate moves forward with their Bitcoin reserve legislation. Let's get it. Also, BlackRock buys an additional $1 billion worth of Bitcoin in the past week and now controls 2.7% of the Bitcoin supply. We'll also be discussing DeepSeek AI model predicts Bitcoin bull run peak between 500 and 600,000. I'll be sharing the timeline and when. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more, yo, in today's show. If you're new to the channel, very important to smash the likes, subscribe, then hit the bell icon, turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto newsletters every single day, just like this. Today is pod episode 1889. I'm your host, JV. It's Jan 28, 2025. Markets back in the green, which we love to see. You should be able to see Coin 360 here on your screen. We're trading just above 102.3 at the time of the live stream. Biddy up 2.5% on the day. XRP, a big gainer, up 7%. Ether up 2%, and the market's going wild. And checking out CoinMarketCap.com. The current crypto market cap sits at 3.48 trillion. Bitcoin market cap just above 2 trillion. And we have 122 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours. And the Bitcoin dominance has been on the rise this week. We're back above 58.3%. Ether dominance, womp womp, all the way down to 10.9%. And checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours. We have Move leading the pack, followed by the XDC, followed by the Jupe, and then Onyx Coin. Dun dun up. And let me know which alt, if any, you're bullish on for the bull. And checking out Crypto Bubbles, bubbly here. Most of the market in the green, I'd say 80-20 green over red. Zooming out on the monthly. Unfortunately, the majority of the alts corrective still wrecked and in the red. Be careful out there, broskies. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index. Today's a 72, yesterday's a 71, last week's a 76, and last month's a 73 in the extreme greed. And the time chain calendar says we can currently exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 975 of the sats to stack the sats, put down the gaps, and pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man, Sergio, bitcoincaps.net. And if you don't know, now you know. Let's dive into today's astrology for the broskies. We'll pull up some of the live charts and go from there. Here the headline reads, Bitcoin far from extreme FOMO at above 100 G's. That's right. Bitcoin newbies are not showing signs that the bull market top is in. That's because the bull market top is not in, clearly. Now, Bitcoin bull markets are typically characterized by a high proportion of transactions involving the newer market entrants, while the old hands brace for the lower. Brace yourselves, fools. Referencing to the bull market peaks, 2013, 2017, 2021. Notice a common occurrence. It's the year preceding the halving. Every time since the inception of the first halving of 2012, it's always the following year we hit the cycle peak. Every single time thus far. So until that changes, I expect nothing less. That's why I'm anticipating the cycle peak this year in 2025. I mean, look at it. Cycle peak 1 year after the halving from 2012, 2013, 2016, 2017, and 2020, 2021. And we just had the halving in 2024. So most likely we're about to hit price discovery big time this year. The latest increase in the younger UTXOs suggests a growing participant of the newer market entrants. However, we are not yet at the extreme levels seen during the previous cycles. You ain't seen nothing yet, Captain. The chart splits the UTXOs by coin age, with young coins described as being dormant for no longer than 3 months. Blow off top territory it reveals is typically marked by these coins accounting for more than 70% of the UTXOs, signaling a sense of the FOMO amongst the experienced traders. The chart suggests that we are entering a phase of increased market activity, but the proportion of the young UTXOs is not yet at the historical peak levels. This could mean that Bitcoin still has room for further upside, but traders should closely monitor the ratio of the young coins to long-term holdings for potential warning signs of a top. This phenomenon is also being tracked by other crypto industry sources, including Glassnode. Young coins accounting for just over half the UTXOs at present. The proportion of wealth held by the new Bitcoin investors, 24 hours to 3 months, is still well below the levels seen during the all-time high cycle tops, which is a bullish indicator. Now off to the races, 110. Can we get a blackjack here? The 20 range has held more than 2 months, leading to increasing conviction that sooner or later the price will escape. For popular trader Jelly, he says that's all that's needed is a daily close above the recent all-time high, a 110, and we got mighty close on Inauguration Day, which was literally 8 days ago, Jan 20th in the morning. We hit the current all-time high, 1093, which is the current price discovery, quoting the analyst here. This bullish pennant has a target of roughly 145 G's, baby. Broke out, retested successfully, daily close above 110, and we're off to the races. So we're so damn close, I should say. And in breaking news, state-owned oil and gas giant Petrobras now mining the Bitcoin with a flare gas. It accounts for 88% of the Brazil's energy. Let's go. Highest and best use. Great example right there. Mining the biddy. And pulling up some of the live charts for the broskies here. Let's see what we can find here via Coinbase, via TradingView. And as you can see live on your screen, checking out the 1 hour chart, we got a rising wedge. That's the type of wedgie I like to see. And zooming out from the 1 hour, we go to the 4 hour. Do we have the 130 target? Hopefully. Yeah, baby. 130,000 in play. I still am bullish to the point. I do believe we hit this in Q1. We still have a couple of months yet, obviously. I don't know if it'll happen in February, but I like to believe so. It's my birthday month. And zooming out from the 4 hour, we take a quick look at a daily, and it says it's going up forever, Laura. Also a rising wedge here. It's been range bound at around this 100,000, 105 level. Let's see if we can get a breakout. And zooming out on the 1 week, we still have the sexy cup and handles target at, I think, 124. Yeah. And obviously Sunday we had a big corrective day. We were on track to get a high, weekly candle close, but unfortunate. It dipped back down, and it is what it is where we're currently at. Zooming out from the weekly, we check out the monthly. And as you can see here, the good news, we are forming a green candle close here in 3 days. So far, so good. If we can get above 110, we're off to the races. As the analyst said, last month, corrective itty bitty red, and November, the biggest green candle, Godzilla style, we have seen, since the inception of the Genesis block. Okay, next story, Trump's executive order regarding the stable coins and how it's likely to affect things here. Headline reads, Trump executive order raises the EU concerns over the US dollar stablecoin dominance. U.S. President Trump's executive order on the country's leadership in digital financial tech escalated the European Union's concerns around the U.S. dollar dominance in the stablecoin market. Now, the European Central Bank, ran by the lizard folk, their executive board member, Piero Cipollone, addressed the digital euro's role in supporting Europe's financial strategic autonomy at the panel of the 13th ILF Conference of the Future of the Financial Sector, Frankfurt, January 24th. Cipollone, it sounds like Corleone, expressed concerns over the U.S. dollar dominance in the stablecoin market, which is also the reason for the European Union to continue building a central bank digital currency. There's no fucking reason to continue building it except enslavement of humankind. Hence, I don't trust lizard folk. But I digress. During the panel, Cipollone raised concerns over Europe's growing reliance on international card schemes, which currently settle more than 6% of the card payments to the EU. He also mentioned the rapid growth of the mobile payment apps in the EU. Notice what Trump said. CBDCs are banned in the United States of America because he recognizes them for what they are. And the EU, unfortunate, it's sad to say, they're trying to enslave you. Let's leave it at that. Amongst other concerns, he also referred to the overwhelming role of the U.S. dollar in the stable market. And at this time, dollar-backed stable coins account for 97% of the global stable market, valued at $215 billion. And given these concerns, he reiterated the need for a digital euro, which sounds like a stable coin to me. What can go wrong with a digital version of fiat monopoly dollars, which are programmable by the central bankers? But anyways, adding to the EU's concerns around the overwhelming role of the U.S. dollar in the stable market, the Trump administration signaled its intention to further promote dollar-backed stablecoins. And the executive order recently signed on strengthening the American leadership of the digital financial technology. The Trump admin pledged to promote the U.S. dollar's sovereignty, including through actions to promote the development and growth of the lawful, legitimate dollar-backed stablecoins worldwide, aka USDT, Tether, Now, when it comes to like Circle and USDC, I am not a fan whatsoever, and I'll just leave it at that. While pushing the US dollar stablecoins, the order prohibits the establishment, issuance, circulation, and the use of CBDCs. That's a victory, family, for us, raising significant challenge for the global CBDC development. It's prophesized that they're going to control the money, the digital dollar, not happening, at least not with the Trump administration in place, because they banned the CBDCs, which is a beautiful thing. But obviously, it's not banned in other parts of the world, such as China, where it's actively being deployed. And now the EU is next. Is dollar supremacy the ultimate goal for the Trump's executive order? Probably. While many in the crypto community see the executive order as confirmation for Trump's pro-crypto agenda, some observers suggest that the ultimate goal is to maintain the U.S. dollar dominance worldwide. I'm a firm believer in that because he ultimately works for the U.S. dollar. I mean, the people he works for represents the U.S. dollar. And that's why it's like a double-edged sword with the whole Bitcoin adoption in the U.S. because, as Max Kaiser famously said, Bitcoin severs the head of the central banking cartels. Sorry. So will he fully embrace Bitcoin, which could potentially jeopardize the power of the US dollar? And this is according to Trump's own words, previous administration, like when he was anti-Bitcoin, he's like, I only care about a strong US dollar and Bitcoin undermines the value of the dollar. So therefore I don't like it. I mean, did he really change his whole stance? I don't know. You tell me, family. But anyways, in the executive order, broad statements are meant to push the U.S. to the forefront of the development of digital financial assets and the infrastructure, quoting them here. However, that support ends if any of those developments threaten the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. I mean, do you think Bitcoin is a threat to the dollar? Michael Saylor's viewpoint is that they can both thrive and exist in harmony with rainbows and bunnies jumping in the forest. But I'm a little skeptical of that. That's why I want to know your thoughts, and I'll read those comments out loud. According to Les Perrins, the Trump administration would likely be willing to curb CBDC development worldwide. Trump is clearly using bargaining chips, such as the threat of tariffs, as a means to force the EU and other economies to impose a similar CBDC ban. And we'll see how that is likely to play out, family. But all I know is this. I am very grateful that Trump banned CBDCs. They're not good. I just hope that a stable coin doesn't replace the idea of the CBDC, because a stable coin seems to be like a programmable dollar, very similar to a central bank digital currency. So hopefully they don't give us the old switcheroony and it has the same effective purpose for controlling and enslaving humanity. But you let me know your thoughts. Let's discuss Metaplanet, the Japanese MicroStrategy. They plan to raise over $700 million and acquire more of the Bitcoin. That's right. Japanese publicly traded company Metaplanet announced plans to raise $116 billion of the yen, $745 million of the USD to fund more Bitty purchases. Jan 29th, the company issued 21 million shares at a 0% discount, moving strike warrants. Metaplanet plans to use these shares to raise the funds needed to increase its Bitty holdings. The company called it the largest capital raise in the Asian equity markets for buying Bitcoin. And here's the announcement right there. The move aligns with Metaplanet's strategy to counter the yen's declining value and solidify its position as the leader of the Bitcoin adoption. So yeah, that's why we call it the Japanese version of MicroStrategy. The $745 million fundraising initiative marks the first phase of the Metaplanet ambitious Bitcoin strategy. The company announced the goal to accumulate 10,000 of the Bitty by Q4 of this year, which would cost over $1 billion at the current price. By Q4 2026, Metaplanet plans to increase its holdings to 21,000 of the Bitty, worth approximately $2.1 billion based on 100,000 per coin. And we all know by the time they achieve the goal, it's going to be worth a lot more money. Just saying. Bitcoin target of 21,000 Bitty by 2026. That's a hell of a goal. And kudos to them. It feels good to front run these mofos is all I'm saying. I wish them a lot of success. Metaplanet's representative director and president Simon Jurovich said in a press release that the market recognized the company as Tokyo's preeminent Bitcoin company. The executive said the company is seizing the momentum to solidify the position. Our vision is to lead the Bitcoin renaissance in Japan and emerge as one of the largest corporate Bitcoin holders globally. The plan is our commitment to that future. Metaplanet is currently the 15th largest corporate Bitcoin holder. Metaplanet first bought Bitcoin on April 8th of 2024, making it a core treasury asset. He said that since the company adopted a Bitcoin standard, it has experienced exponential growth. And any other company or CEO or board leader watching this, the keyword, since adopting the Bitty standard, we have experienced exponential growth. If that's what you want to experience, maybe consider adopting some Biddy for your company treasury, is all I'm saying. The company said its 2024 milestone included a Bitcoin yield of 309% for the fourth quarter, following a 41% yield in quarter three, and adding the Bitcoin holdings to also reflect significant unrealized gains. And apart from the Bitcoin investment, the company also experienced growth in the number of the shareholders, which surpassed 50,000. Good Lord. And its share trading volume increased 430x year on year. That's a win. And shout out Dylan LeClaire. He's a genius, this kid. Check it. Metaplanet has issued 21 million moving strike warrants, whatever that means. I'm not going to pretend to understand, but a 0% discount. Estimated proceeds, 750 million to purchase additional Bitcoin. Sound familiar to MicroStrategy? They just convert some stocks. They raise billions of dollars through convertible notes at 0% interest, not need to be paid back for 5 years, and they just continue to purchase another $1 billion with Bitcoin every week. Eventually, we're going to run out of the Bitcoin. I mean, accelerate. Infinity divided by 21 million. Do the math. And shout out Dylan LeClaire. Good guy right there. All right, next story, yo. We just broke down the latest of Metaplanet, right? We still got to discuss Arizona, and then we'll discuss BlackRock's new $1 billion buy and taking over the world. And then we'll discuss the new AI model projecting Bitcoin hitting as high as 600,000 as the cycle peak. And then we'll tap into some live Q&A, and we'll see where we go from there. And again, welcome everyone join the live stream. Here's big news. Arizona Senate moves forward with the Bitcoin Reserve legislation. That's right. Arizona lawmakers have advanced the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve Bill, seeking to deploy the world's first crypto as a savings technology for the state. Precisely what it is. It's superior savings technology. The Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Act, SB 1025, co-sponsored by Senator Wendy Rogers and Representative Jeff Wenger, was passed by the Arizona State Senate Finance Committee with a 5-2 vote January 27 yesterday. The bill will now move to the Senate Rule Committee for the final debate and amendments. Approval by the Senate would advance the bill to the House of Representatives. The bill proposes the creation of a strategic Bitcoin reserve by the U.S. Treasury for the storage of government Bitcoin holdings, which would also allow for other public funds to store their digital assets in a secure, segregated account within the strategic Bitcoin reserve. Just when I hear those terms, that phrase, strategic Bitcoin reserve, say that 3 times as fast as you can, JV. Strategic Bitcoin reserve, strategic Bitcoin reserve, strategic Bitcoin reserve. It's time. The bill would also allow up to a 10% of a government entity or a public fund capital to be invested into the Biddy and other digital assets. Also opens the door for the pension funds to allocate resources into the Biddy, potentially increasing public interest of the Biddy. Biddy. Can't you see? Somehow you sats just hypnotized me. Up to the 20% of the Gen Z and the Alpha already open to receiving the pensions in Bitcoin. I mean, who would want their pension in, let's say, Solana? Nobody. Maybe Sam Bankman-Fried, but he's in prison. While 78% expressed greater trust in alternative retirement saving options over traditional pension funds, Arizona's decision to include the Biddy in its financial strategy could lead to the domino effect amongst the other states. According to Andy Leon, author of the Intergovernmental Blockchain, check it out. Imagine if your state decided to put some of your tax dollars into the Biddy. It might encourage places like Texas or Pennsylvania, where they've already been talking about the similar ideas, to jump on the bandwagon quicker. However, Leon cautioned that the Bitcoin reserve could require safeguards due to the crypto volatility, noting that taxpayers could face financial risks similar to those encountered by the crypto investors. As one of the most anticipated crypto-related bills in history, the Bitcoin Act, championed Wyoming Republican Senator, the one and only Cynthia Lummis, generated significant excitement amongst investors. Remember, she proposed the bill to ultimately for the United States to purchase 1 million Bitcoin over 5 years, which is approximately 200,000 Bitcoin per year over the course of the next 5 years. This nationwide approval of the U.S. Bitcoin Reserve can push the Biddy into the 7-figure mark. Can you say 7 figures? As soon as the cycle, according to Adam Back, co-founder and CEO of Blockstream, this man knows exactly who Satoshi is. According to all the OGs I know, this guy is an OG, played a crucial part in the creation of Bitcoin. Some even believe he is Satoshi, but anyways. The inventor of the Hashcash, one of the most notable cryptographers of the industry, quoting him here. If the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve happens to prepare for the 7-figure Bitcoin, hence JV's target of 1.1 million. And if you watch yesterday's pod, you know what I'm talking about. If you missed it, go back and check it out. This cycle and cycle peak this year, 2025. The market is skeptical of the meaningful follow through for now, so that's not at all priced in precisely. The potential approval could lead to the rapid price appreciation as the market participants have yet to price in the likelihood. There are at least 13 other Bitcoin Reserve related bills at various stages in states such as Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Kansas, New Hampshire, Wyoming, Ohio, Utah, North Dakota, and of course, I even heard Florida we have touched upon. I think there's actually maybe even some more. But anyways, Bitcoin reserve proposals are gaining support across the U.S. thanks to Trump's pro-crypto policies and recent executive order on crypto. The success of the bill can bring an influx of new institutional Bitcoin adopters, according to the co-founder and CEO of Ethereum, quoting him here. Analysts suggest it could drive the Bitcoin price towards 500 G's, baby, while attracting institutional investors, institutional FOMO like a mofo, and like the pensions, the sovereign wealth funds, the further legitimizing the bitty as an asset class. No diddy. And there you have it, yo. And if you don't know, now you know. Here's the latest with the BlackRock buying another $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, now controlling 2.7% of the total Bitcoin supply, broskies. That's right. New data from blockchain analytics firm Arcam reveals that the asset management titan BlackRock piled up another $1 billion of the Bitcoin. Arcam says BlackRock, which has over $10 trillion in assets under management. Do you guys understand how much wealth that is? That's like 1 trillion is 1,000 billions. So just for the reference there. They now control 2.7% of all the Bitcoin supply with its latest 10-figure Bitcoin purchase. BlackRock now owns 572,616 of the Bitcoin, worth over 58.4 billion. And to put that in perspective, it took MicroStrategy, first publicly traded company, to put a biddy on a balance sheet back in 2020, thanks to the Giga Chad Michael Saylor. They currently have 470,000 Bitcoin, and they started their adoption 5 years ago. BlackRock started their adoption 1 year ago, Jan 11th of 2024, and already accumulated more Bitcoin than MicroStrategy itself. So just BlackRock and MicroStrategy have over 1 million Bitcoin, which is over 5% of the circulating supply, which is mind-boggling. Other notable digital assets in the BlackRock portfolio include $3 billion worth of Ether and $72 million worth of USDC. Again, I'm not a fan of that stablecoin, FYI. I don't trust Circle whatsoever. Amid the asset management firm buying spree last week, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink said Bitcoin can soar as high as 700 G's per bitty during the World Economic Forum event in Davos. According to Fink, Bitcoin can see drastically higher prices if sovereign wealth funds begin accumulating Bitcoin as a hedge against the local fears. Then he say like 2 to 5% allocation, right? Quoting him here, if you're frightened of the debasement of your currency, or you're frightened of the economic or political stability of your country, you can have an internationally based instrument called Bitcoin that will overcome those local fears. And so I'm a big believer in the utilization of that instrument. And so if that becomes true and you see that it could be a proper hedge against hope securities or equities, the question is, could you see it to be a 2 to 5% allocation? I'm absolutely more optimistic. I'm seeing like 20 to 50%. You just got to 10x everything nowadays. I was with a sovereign wealth fund during this week, and that was the conversation. Should we have a 2% allocation? Should we have a 5% allocation? If everybody adopted that conversation, it'd be 500,000, 600,000, 700,000 per Bitcoin. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Lawrence Fink, CEO of the largest asset management conglomerate of the entire planet. Now for our feature story of the day. DeepSeek AI model predicts Bitcoin bull run peak between 500 and 600,000 per bitty. So let's break this one down. And quoting the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Kaiser, in regards to the DeepSeek calling for 180 to 220 Bitcoin cycle top by November 2025. And again, I'm going to share more insights here in a moment. But Max wrote, 220,000 in play as I predicted. I didn't need AI because I commune directly with Satoshi. That's right. Max is always channeling the spirit of Satoshi, and he's been calling for 220,000 for several years. And I know firsthand because I've been covering Max Kaiser for several years. He was my favorite Bitcoiner, and finally got to meet the stud over at Bitcoin Country at the Max and Stacey Invitational. And it was amazing. And as you know, he recently just 10x that target, which means he believes we can hit 2.2 million this cycle in the bull scenario. So I take it 220 is his bear scenario, 220 for the bull. But let's dive deeper into this AI model. And let me know if you guys got to experiment with this at all. DeepSeek is the Chinese open source AI model making waves in Silicon Valley. Extremely bullish on the bitty, predicting a potential peak between 500 and 600,000 by the first quarter of 2026, which means by this time next year, broskies. This bold outlook emerged after the AI was asked to factor in both historical models and the on-chain data alongside pro-Bitcoin approach from President Trump. That's what's up. DeepSeek begins by discussing what, and I wonder when they factor these numbers, if they take into consideration the thousands of my podcast episodes where we discuss all these bullish targets. That'd be crazy if they did factor in JV in there, but Anyways, key implications of the crypto executive order it believes could change the calculus for both the institutional and retail participants. The AI states that the exploration of a national Bitcoin reserve signals institutional validation of the Bitcoin as a strategic asset. If the U.S. government accumulates the BITI, it would create a significant supply shock, driving the prices higher. Thanks, Captain Obvious. As if we needed the AI to tell us that, but you already know. This comment reflects a view that the market could tighten substantially if the large public entities such as national treasuries decide to hold the BITI in the reserve. Furthermore, DeepSeek highlights the possibility that other nations and institutions could follow suit. We call that the global hash war, as Max Kaiser coined years ago, or I like to refer to as game theory, which would add the upward price pressure if a wave of competitive accumulation were to ensue. I mean, if the leader of the free world is adopting Bitcoin and putting it on the treasury and purchasing 200,000 BITIs per year, stockpiling the BITI, other nations are going to have to or get left behind. That's the game theory in full effect. The AI also remarks that the banning of the CBDC as a Trump admin would be effectively positioning the BITI and other decentralized cryptos as the primary alternative to fiat, which is a bold departure from the policies adopted and explored by many other jurisdictions, including the lizard folks, seeing the CBDCs as a means of maintaining control over the monetary policy of the digital economy. Exactly. DeepSeek believes that regulatory clarity is another fundamental driver likely to magnify the BITI gains. It explicitly points out that the establishment of a crypto working group led by David Sachs suggests a pro-innovation regulatory approach, unlike Gensler, and that such a policy stance is likely to foster a favorable climate for the crypto businesses and financial institutions looking for stable guidelines, because no Claire Gare didn't provide any clarity, and so now he's home getting his shine box, getting ready for my appointment to get my shoes shined this afternoon after the pod before I hit up the basketball courts and play Chandy 10 music a little one-on-one 1v1. I got to get my shoes shined by Gary. The AI argues that this in turn could encourage accelerated institutional inflows and broader mainstream acceptance of Bitcoin, especially if companies are assured that the regulatory framework allows them to innovate without the fear of sudden legal or compliance obstacles. Now, DeepSeek goes on to address the geopolitical aspects of the executive order by saying the U.S. has taken a leadership role in the digital asset space, which could strengthen the dollar's dominance while simultaneously boosting Bitcoin's status as a global store value. And delving into the specific timeline, the AI predicts that any news about the realization of the strategic Bitcoin reserve can trigger a short-lived but potential rally or potent rally, potentially pushing the BITI to 120, 130 brackets as traders, institutions, and media absorb implications of a government-led push for the national Bitcoin reserve and enhanced regulatory clarity. DeepSeek expects that by the second and third quarters of this year, as conversations around the working group's findings gain the momentum, institutional investors and retail market participants may exhibit what the DeepSeek calls institutional FOMO like a mofo, leading to the jump of the Bitcoin price to 200, 250, ultimately saying Max Kaiser's 220 target in play any day. God candle away, Omega candle away. Will it happen today? The AI model then projects that by the end of 2025, the price might rise further, potentially reaching 300 to 500 Gs. It points to the ongoing speculation about the government's Bitcoin purchases, or at least the possibility of such purchases, as well as the heightened recognition of Bitcoin's role as the global reserve asset. DeepSeek believes this period would be marked by increased media attention, new financial products, enabling the Bitcoin exposure. One thing they didn't factor in: JV's bullishness. Hence, we got to 10x this price. Just saying. The AI's analysis becomes especially dramatic when it turns to the outlook for 2026, tying it into three factors: the aftermath of the 2024 Bitcoin halving, growing interest from the major institutions, and direct involvement of the U.S. government. DeepSeek says Bitcoin can peak at 500 to 600,000 as the market enters euphoria phase. Super cycles ended, suggesting the first quarter of 2026 is most likely time for the spike. So they're ultimately factoring in an extended cycle, hitting the cycle peak the following year. But you let me know your thoughts. Where do you think the pretty little bitty is going next? Let me know, and I'll read your comments out loud. Welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream.